the 6 unseen forces that control human behavior. I'm Travis Peterson. In this video, we're going to talk about the 6 human needs. The reason why the 6 human needs are so important to understand is because they are basically the reason why we do anything. They're the reason why we do any behavior, any thought, or any emotion, is to meet one or more of these 6 human needs. If any thought, behavior, or emotion meets 3 or more of the 6 human needs at a very high level, that means that it's going to become a psychological addiction or a compulsion. It's incredibly useful to understand what the 6 human needs are in you, that is the particular way that you value these needs, and also the way that the people around you value their needs, because everybody values these 6 human needs differently. And the way that we value these 6 human needs gives rise to our personality and the decisions we make throughout life. It can also give rise to certain strengths in relationship. It can give rise to certain weaknesses in relationship. So if you find you're having a conflict in a particular relationship in your life, pay close attention, because these 6 human needs, when you understand them, it's like seeing the unseen. It's like seeing the reason why people do anything, and that is very, very valuable. When I first learned these, it gave me an incredible insight into my client's behavior. So the moment anybody comes in to see me, I automatically know what their top 2 needs are. And from that, we can form a really, really useful way of working together that gets results instead of being stuck muddling around in things that aren't really important to that particular person. So, without any further delay, let's go right into these 6 human needs. The first of the 6 human needs is the need for certainty. We all have a need to feel certain about life. We have a need to feel secure and that we can predict some things in life. We all have a need to know that tomorrow morning when we wake up, the sun's going to come up. There's going to be certain things that happen. This gives us a feeling of comfort and security. Some positive ways that people meet the need for certainty are things like saving up 3 months of expenses, things like having a strong and stable social circle around them, you know, things that are predictable. Even something like every Friday night we have family movie night, or every Sunday people go to church, and that's a predictable kind of thing. It could be really anything throughout the day. You may have a morning ritual that you do, or a morning routine that every single day you wake up, maybe have a cup of coffee or tea, sit outside, enjoy the sunrise, that kind of thing. And that really creates a sense of predictability, because you know that in that time you're taking some time for yourself and you're sort of filling yourself up. Some negative ways of meeting the need for certainty would be things like trying to control other people or trying to control outside situations. The reason why this is a negative way is because it leads to a lot of worry. We end up trying to control. It's like the more we try and control things that we can't control, the less we realize we can control them, the more uncertain we feel, and the more we desire to control everything around us. So it's not the best way to do things, and it's sort of like it's barking up the wrong tree, you know? It doesn't really get any type of comfort or certainty, but what it does get is a lot more uncertainty. Now, there's a little bit of a paradox for people that worry, and that worry constantly in the medical profession or psychological profession. They call this generalized anxiety disorder. And for me, what I see this as, I don't really prescribe to labels, but what I see this as is a person who is constantly trying to control situations that are outside of their control. And this leads to a lot of anxiety, because we can't really control anything. At the best, we can influence situations, or we can influence other people. We certainly can't control them. And for the worrier feels absolutely certain that no matter what, even if this worrier can't control outside situations, that no matter what, they can control how terrible they feel, because they can always control how much they worry. So it's sort of like control and being out of control, which is a little bit of a paradox, but we human beings, sometimes we don't make sense. Sometimes, actually most of the time, we're just operating on raw emotion, and that's why we do things that are irrational and don't really get us what we want in life. So, that's the need for certainty. After we meet the need for certainty, then we move to meeting the need for variety. Variety is uncertainty. It's adventure, excitement, a little bit of differentiation in our life experience. Because if we did the same thing all the time, we would be bored out of our minds. I'm not sure if you've had a job that was, for the first month, you're learning how to do the job, And then after the first month, it's basically so monotonous that it just bores the living, well, you know, it bores you to tears. And I've had jobs like this, and what I noticed when I've been in jobs like this is that if there's other people around, what do? Well, you start talking to them, you start gossiping about the company or about who's dating who or what's going on, and or about troubles in their lives and all this kind of stuff. And so that's sort of a negative way of meeting the need for variety. It's like the movie Edward Scissorhands, when everybody in the town lives a very sort of mundane, rather boring lifestyle. All the husbands go to work at the same time. All the wives wave goodbye the same way. The husband's driving the same car. They drive down the same road to go to work. And all the houses are sort of cookie cutter and looking exactly the same. And then what do the wives do when their husbands go to work? The wives get on the phone and start gossiping back and forth to each other because they need that variety. They need that excitement because everything is so monotonous in their lives. And also if we're at work and there's not really anybody around, then we gossip with ourselves. We go up into our head and we start strategizing or worrying or doing whatever it might be. And that creates a lot of stress as well. Sort of just a bunch of thinking that we could do without. And sure, it meets our need for variety, but at what cost? So it's always nice to have healthy ways of meeting this need for variety. And some of these healthy ways for meeting the need for variety are things like getting out of your comfort zone, like taking a different route home from work, like talking to somebody you've never talked to before, or just doing something totally out of your regular mode of behavior, something like skydiving, whitewater rafting, going paintballing, who knows. Just things to get some excitement flowing in your life, and this can make a huge difference as far as how much you enjoy your life and what's really going on for you. The next need that we all have is the need for significance. The need for significance is very, very important, and some people downplay it a little bit. All these needs are very, very important, and none of them should be downplayed. They all must be met in some way. If they're not met in a positive way, they'll be met in a negative way, so it's always useful to pay attention and find ways of meeting these needs in positive ways. The need for significance is the need to be worthy in some way or to feel worthy. The need to be distinct in some sort of favorable way or even an unfavorable way, but to be the head of a marching band kind of thing and to be looked at for a level of importance. And for some people, when they're at work, they're sort of the go-to guy or gal, and they have the answers, and they put themselves in the position to know the answers, and that's definitely meeting the need for significance. Sometimes they end up putting themselves in positions where they're definitely getting the need for significance met, but at the cost of having to do a whole bunch of extra stuff, or a bunch of extra work, and it causes some stress for them. So, need for significance, very important. We can meet this need in negative ways by having big, significant problems that we're always thinking about or that we tell other people about, because then if we have this big, huge problem, well, then I'm significant because I'm the one that has the problem. We can also meet the need for significance in a negative way by putting somebody else down, by getting angry, by bullying other people, or, saying cutting comments, those types of things. We can meet the need for significance in positive ways by achieving something that nobody else has achieved or that few people have achieved. We can meet the need for significance by helping somebody out or teaching something. We can meet this need by giving something. So there's many positive ways, many healthy ways of meeting this need for significance. The next need we have after significance is love and connection. Love and connection is what we all really want, and sometimes love is a bit too scary, so we settle for the watered down version of love, which is connection. The way I see it, love is like a deep connection, and connection is sort of more of there's two types, right? There's just superficial connection, and there's more of a deep connection. What we all really want is that deep connection. And the reason why is because it sort of nourishes us in a way that nothing else really can. In order to do this, though, we have to put down our mask that we wear. We have to put down our need for significance. We have to put down our need for certainty, or at least value them in a different way. Sometimes people go around and they say, well, I'm right about everything, and therefore you should listen to me, and I'm never wrong, and all this kind of stuff. But it's not very easy to connect with people when we have that type of attitude. So in order to feel a deep connection, we have to put down our need for significance and put down our need for certainty, and then we can feel the connection with life all around us, with people all around us, because it doesn't take any effort to feel connected. Positive ways of meeting the need for love and connection would be to, again, just have a stable family life, a place where you can express love and be loved and feel that connection from all around you. It could be something as simple as when you go for groceries, just striking up a conversation with the checkout person and actually really caring about how their day is going. It could be something like doing the courtesy wave when somebody lets you into traffic. And some negative ways of meeting this need for love and connection are to indulge in emotions like depression or self-pity. Because what happens when we go in these emotions? Well, yeah, maybe we're connecting with ourselves, or maybe other people are giving us attention because we're depressed or sad in some way. But there comes a point where sadness, depression, and self-pity are not really authentic. They're just being used to get our needs met in some way, to meet this need for love and connection. And if we feel like people aren't going to love us except for when we're broken in some way, well, that really creates some problems. It means we always have to be broken. So the way that I sort of describe this to my clients is that you come home from a hard day work and you're constantly doing for everybody else, and then you get home and you sit on the couch and you got a big bowl of ice cream or something, or a big bag of chips. You say, this is my time. It's like, I'm not going to think about other stuff, and sort of a bit of a self-pity kind of thing where you're saying, this is my time, this is my space. And yeah, you're connecting with yourself, but doing it in a rather maladaptive way. And it could be termed as negative. It depends on the results that you want. Some people really enjoy that, and it's not doing anything negative in their lives, so they continue doing it. If it is causing negative results, then it might be time to change. This isn't a judgment call on me. It's something for you to decide. But I find that pattern comes up quite often. And it's all caused by, again, this need for connection, and some other needs as well, like the need for comfort and certainty. So those 4 needs that I just went over, certainty, variety, significance, love and connection, those are the needs of the personality. They're more of the survival needs. We must meet these needs. And if we don't meet them in a positive way, we will meet them in a negative way. You may be surprised when you really look at your life. I know I was surprised when I looked at my life in what ways I was meeting these needs, and I found out that a lot of the vehicles that I had for meeting these needs were not so good for me. They were causing a lot of problems in my life. So it's very, very useful when we look into ourselves and find out, what's really going on, when we look in with a little bit of honesty and see the truth for what it is. The next 2 needs that we have are more of the spiritual needs. They're the needs that are responsible for fulfillment and meaning in our lives. The first of these needs is the need for growth. And just like a plant, if we're not growing, what are we doing? We're dying. Because life can never stay the same. Nothing can ever stay the same. We have this illusion that once I achieve this goal, I'll just stay there and everything will be perfect. Well, the reality is that either it gets slowly worse or it gets slowly better. And it's our choice what we want to do with that. The next need we all have is the need for contribution. This need is incredibly important because it creates a life of meaning. When we have a life of meaning, it means that our lives mean something. Many people can fulfill this need by giving to others, by making their lives about something more than just them. What I find that happens quite often when people start to get older is that the kids leave the house, they retire, and all of a sudden they lose all the meaning in their lives. And they end up not really doing anything. Maybe it's because they're not really sure what they can do or what they even want to do. But I also find there's some people that create that meaning in their lives, and they might do it by volunteering or getting a part-time job or by helping out with the grandkids, these types of things. There's always some way to find meaning in life. One of my clients came in one day and she was telling me how her 97-year-old mother, what she does to create meaning in her life is every morning she wakes up and for the whole day she knits mittens for the homeless people here in Edmonton. And that's her reason for waking up. That's her reason for staying alive. She says that if I wasn't alive, if I didn't wake up in the morning, then these people, well, they'd freeze. So they need to have mittens, and it's me that's going to do it for them. So she took it upon herself to create some meaning in her life. And I think that's just a really, really great way of living. And I think when people have meaning in their lives, when there's some reason for being, and there's been studies done on this time and time again, that people end up living longer. They end up being happier and more fulfilled because in that meaning there's a reason for growing. In that meaning, in that